is a frown. Frowns have a highest point. So this has a max. And the max is right here. Go ahead and put a dot right there. Can somebody tell me what the ordered pair is for that red dot? What's the X and Y value? 0, 2. Good job. Now that happens to also be where it crosses the y-axis. So that's actually the answer for the second part too. Now remember, when you find your vertex, and I have highlighters and things in the basket in the front if people, if you need highlighters, but this is something I will highlight. The vertex and the axis of symmetry go together. So whatever you put for X, because remember, this is X and this is Y. Whatever you put for X in the vertex, that is your axis of symmetry. So you're going to put X equals 0. And then again, if you have a highlighter, this number, Y, in the vertex goes with the range. So our domain is all real numbers. And because this is upside down, okay, that means that the lowest point doesn't have a lowest point because it's going to always go down. So we always start with the smallest, and the smallest in this case is negative infinity. But it does have a highest point, and the Y value of the highest point is 2, and that would get a bracket. All right, go ahead, take out your notes. Now we're starting 1.2 today, but 1.2 is really pretty close to 1.1, so there's not really many new things that we're adding to the second part. So go to page 6. It's a couple of formulas that we need to re-go through again. There's a lot of different ways that you can write the equation for a quadratic. Now, standard form is ax squared plus bx plus c. Later in chapter 1, we'll learn another way. Two other ways to write it. And the equation for axis of symmetry, oh, I erased it, it's not on the chalkboard or on the whiteboard, is opposite of b over 2a. That's your equation. Now, whenever we're trying to solve, that's the key word here is solve. Anytime we're trying to solve, solving means determine where it crosses the x-axis. There's a homework in the front. So where it crosses the x-axis is your solutions. So there's a couple different ways that we can say solution. So the first one, we know we have x-intercept. We could call it a root. We can call it a 0. And it could also be called a solution. But all of 4 of these words, and I'm going to go ahead and write x-intercept. Have you heard of a synonym? What does synonym mean? Yeah, words that mean the same. These 4 words have the same meaning. All right. So looking at this graph, we're going to figure out where are the x-intercepts. So for this first one, now this is the x-axis. This is my graph. Let me go ahead and trace it because I think yours may be kind of light too. All right, that's what the first one looks like. Does that black graph cross the red line? Will it ever cross the red line? No, because it's going to keep going up. So this is an example of a function that has no solution. So you can say none, you can say NA. It has to cross the x-axis or touch the x-axis in order to have a solution. So let me do the same thing here. I'm going to trace. Maybe I'm going to trace. There we go. Okay. So this one actually did come down low enough. It touched down right here. So it's sitting on it. It doesn't really cross through it. It just sits on top. So this is my x-intercept. Now, whenever you're asked for an x-intercept, you should write that as an ordered pair. So where is that blue dot? Show me with your fingers. Where does it touch down on the x-axis? Yeah, 3, good. So my x-intercept will be written as 3, 0. My solution is x equals 3. Again, 2 different ways to really say the same thing. All right, and then my third graph, go ahead and trace. And then, trace. Okay, so this one actually crosses through. Crosses through in 2 different places. So every place that you put a blue dot should be an ordered pair. So you have one at negative 2, 0, and the second time is at positive 2, 0. Your solutions would be x equals negative 2 and x equals positive 2. So when you have a quadratic, you can have no solution, 1 solution, or 2 solutions. You can't have 3 or 4. That's impossible. The most you can have is 2. All right, so we only have one more question to do together. And we're just going to pretty much continue what we've been doing in 1-1. 1-2 and 1-1 are really close to the same things. So on page 7, what is my A, B, and C value? So Charles, what would you say A, B, and C are? Yep, 1, 4, and 4. So let's do our axis of symmetry. Axis of symmetry is x equals. Now you always flip the sign that you put here. So it's a positive 4. So when I put it in my equation, it becomes a negative 4. And that's divided by 2 times A, which is 1. So go ahead and use your calculator. If you need to, see what you get. And whenever you write the axis of symmetry, it's x equal. So Kybora said negative 2, and I agree. All right, so now let's find the vertex. We need to find the y value. So let's take that negative 2 and put it in our equation. So that would be y equals, and then it's x squared plus 4 times x plus 4. And then you're going to put negative 2 in. So go ahead, pick up your calculators, and type in this in. Type that in to get your y value. So I already know the x value of my vertex, but a vertex is an ordered pair. So take a moment and type that in. You want to type it in exactly the way you see it written. Yes. Yes, if there was a, and technically you could still do that because you could, so you really could put the 1 here. I just don't do it because it's 1. But if it's anything other than 1, you have to put it in. So if it was negative, I would put a negative 1. I feel like I didn't answer your question. Can you ask it one more time? Yes, if A was negative. So if it said y equals negative x squared, then I would put a negative in front of the parentheses. But because this one is positive x squared, we don't need to put that. Now that I answer it? Okay. I'm a mind reader a little bit. I was like, I don't think I answered this question. All right, so go ahead, type that in your calculator, see what you get. Now I'm doing it in my head, so I think it's 0, but I wouldn't go with that because you got 0? Okay. I don't know why I gave up coffee. It's really not a good idea. I think I might have to pick that back up. But yep, so you get 0. So that means that our vertex is going to be at -2, 0. All right, so now we're going to fill in our table. So I have my -2, 0. That's my middle. That's the middle of my graph. And now I'm going to count back and forward. So that would be -1, 0, -3, -4. So I want you to continue what you were doing using this equation, except you're going to put in the other 4 numbers. So I want you to put in 0, see what you get. So you're just changing the number that goes inside of the parentheses. Take a minute and fill in the rest of your chart. Okay. So who got the same numbers I got? I got 4, 1, 0, 1, 4. Who got that? All right, good. Let's go ahead and graph it. Come on over here. Let me zoom on in. So we have 0, 4, 1, 1. Oh, wait, nope. I'm going the wrong direction. -1, 1. -2, 0. -3, 1. And 4, 0. Or, I'm sorry, -4, 4. So the solution is where it touches the x-axis. So this one is sitting on top of the x-axis. So this is my x-axis. And if you look at it, it's just sitting on top. It's only touching it at one spot. So what would my solution be? X equals what? -2. Because that's the only place where it touches the x-axis. This is the only thing we're really adding to this next section of chapter 1. So my domain never changes. That's the easiest point to get. The lowest y value, because remember, range is y. The lowest y value is 0. And it never stops going up. So my range would be 0 to infinity. Now, I also do believe, I want you to add this because I think this is also going to be asked on the test. Can you add y-intercept to one of the questions? Now, you can see the y-intercept from either looking at the graph, but you can also tell the y-intercept from the equation. Do you remember from yesterday, or not yesterday, a couple days ago, which one of these numbers do I look at for the y-intercept? Is it A, B, or C? C, right on. That's what I'm talking about. And you would write that as 0, 4. And that is it. So, everybody take out homework 2. Can you write on there? Couple of reminders. Homework 1 is due today. So if you haven't turned it in, please make sure you turn it in today. Homework 2 is due next week on Wednesday.